Now, while there's a lot to talk about, let's start with the exterior, because this new Z06 gets completely brand new bumpers, hood, pretty much everything is brand new except the doors, the hatch, and the roof. So this bumper is completely brand new, and as you can see, it has a couple more aggressive aerodynamic elements than the standard car. You can see a couple ducts in there for cooling your brakes and such. But the hood is completely different. This car is over 3 inches wider than the standard car, and it gets 20-inch wheels in the front and 21-inch wheels in the rear. But even as we move over to the side, all this sculpting here is brand new for the Z06, and you can see a couple of cooling elements in there. But it gives the Z06 a really distinct look that I personally thought would look kind of very similar to the standard car, but it actually looks very, very different in person. So as you can kind of see, bit of that wide rear arch right there with the new 21-inch wheels. This car has, let's double check, Pilot Sport 4S tires, 345s in the rear. Here's the rear end of the new Z06. So one thing that they were explaining to us was that this exhaust system has a unique sort of megaphone design, and the goal was to project sound not only out of the car but also back towards the driver, because the team found that there wasn't as much exhaust noise inside of the car. So speaking of inside of the car, let's take a look at that. So again, pretty similar to the standard C8. Most of the changes you're going to find are in the exterior rather than the interior, but you get some updated materials, some extra carbon fiber throughout. We can't see it in this particular car, but back there is the main sort of star of the show. It is the most powerful naturally aspirated V8 ever built, and it produces 670 horsepower, and it goes up to a red line of 8,600 RPM. Now, in the highest Z07 pack, the highest, most performance-oriented trim, the Z06 will reach 60 miles an hour in 2.6 seconds, which is fantastic, especially when you consider that this is a rear-wheel drive car. Now, let me give you a shot of the rear so you can get a full view of the aerodynamics.
And the expectation for customers is perfection.
And now you can see from the top. So you can really get a sense of how much wider this is than the sort of standard car, and it really is impressive in person. Now, but to me personally, having driven the normal car and spent some time with it, this design feels to me a little bit more fluid, like it goes together a little better, and it just looks, I think it finally has the right look, the Corvette. Now, I apologize for the lighting, but this is another very interesting element about the new Z06, that you can have an optional carbon fiber wheel, which obviously reduces your unsprung weight and overall should make the car feel significantly lighter. But you can see the whole carbon weave here. Again, I apologize for the lighting, but we're doing the best we can here, folks. Now, that engine, here it is. Completely built by hand. It is the highest output naturally aspirated V8, kind of as I noted earlier, 670 horsepower. There it is right there. And if you want to see it on the car, so you can see the whole architecture of this car and seeing just how tightly packed everything is back here. Here, if you want to see a closer look of that exhaust that I was mentioning earlier, there it is. And look at how wide the 345 tires are, obviously in this sort of deconstructed model. And you can see all the cooling elements and how the air flows through the aerodynamic elements in the front of the car, right there. Honestly, this car is so impressive in person, and you can see, so this would be a Z07 pack equipped one. You can see it has more aggressive aero, and if I move over here, it also has those carbon fiber wheels we were talking about earlier. And on the Z07 car, you also get Cup 2R tires and ceramic brakes. Again, very, very interesting. Here's one final look at the deconstructed look.